But unfortunately,
water.
the tears had not cleared your eyes enough to realize that we were now cleaning up your vomit and that you should probably have helped.
Well,
You didn't.
I turned around and I looked and I go to France. I go, "What are you cleaning?" He goes, "Your puke." I go, "From when?" He was like, literally 10 seconds ago.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast.
All right, lots to unpack here.
I got something for you.
Please. Julio, I don't know where you came up with that idea.
Dude, this guy was a huge turkey.
What is this, Japan? Which is
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I hadn't told you about it.
No, and I also just assumed you were saving it for the pod if you were going to tell me,
Yeah.
which of course you were.
Oh,
But-
yeah. Welcome back to Oops Podcast. That's Julio Gallerati to my left. We've got Ryan. We've got Chris. We've got Conrad of Hangobi in the house. And today's guest is Pat McAuliffe.
You got my last name right. You usually calls me Patty McGonigal.
I do.
Yeah.
But that's not all. You know him from out and about. You know him from your neighborhood gay bar, perhaps.
You know him
perhaps
from
you
the
don't.
Glory Hole on 18th and 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He taps twice when he's ready.
Is that thing still there?
Yeah, remember we ran into each other there a week ago.
That thing needs some new tape. This is getting a little splintery lately. Pat, welcome to the show. So glad to have you. You and I just recently had an absolute bonding, wonderful time together. Doing the Most Dangerous Game Show out in Colorado. Very few details on that coming, as mum's the word. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. I'm worried about you because did he tell you about like his ordeal on the show?
A little bit.
You would think growing up in the woods of Maine that this would have been a walk in the park for Francis. I have never seen another human so rattled.
I mean,
Just everything like I've known Francis for a long time. We used to do radio together on Sirius XM. Everything about the show seemed to disagree with you.
yeah, it wasn't great for me, but I will say, Patty McGonigal, I will say that
I just stirred the pot.
I think it was more the psychological stuff.
Yeah.
Than the adversity of the situation.
Francis is a little bit of the boy who cried wolf when it comes to hardship. He'll bitch about how difficult the week's going to be, but then survive quite well in stride. And you're like, oh, dude, if you were able to do this that well, why were you so skeptical about it? That is we were talking about this at our dinner, which we'll talk about later. But Francis was like, when it comes down to it, I am resilient. And that is true.
Yeah, I can push.
You did well. I think for you it was, I've done these reality shows before and there is a very big psychological element to it because from the second you wake up, literally the second you wake up until you're in bed, there are cameras in your face. You don't have your phone. You don't have any of the things to distract yourself from what's going on. To become immersed in the game to the point where it's like, you almost lose your mind.
Yeah.
Where it's like all I can focus on is what's he doing? What's he saying behind over there? I need to get this person over here. I need to do this. And the whole time the producer are just stirring the pot, which I normally love because I'm usually the one stirring the pot. But to be on the receiving end of it with no alcohol involved is very tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy, dude.
Speaking of alcohol,
Here we go.
when the show ended, I went and found Pat at a bar.
Oh, are we
And-
telling the story?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think
can tell it. All right, we can tell it. I don't care.
And
I had a couple cans of loudmouth soup.
Patty,
I was overserved. I wrote a letter to the bar.
but it was someone's fault, and Patty was ordering. What were you calling them?
I wasn't calling them there. They were on the menu. It was called a working man special, and it was a beer and a shot for $6. So I was like, oh, I'll have 8 of these with my lunch.
Fired up.
I kept giving them to Dana, and when you're around Dana, I just want to feed them drinks for whatever reason. But you came in.
I came in. They were well ahead, and Patty was on one and being very funny, and he was in his element. Just conducting the spirit of the bar, and
it was 3 p.m. by the way.
Yeah, and he
Was it really?
Oh, it was early. It was so early.
I didn't realize this. I had heard a bit about this story, but I didn't realize it was happening in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I thought everyone was sworn to silence, but apparently everyone in the office knows what happened.
Yeah, so he's being loud and hysterical, but it seems totally in control. Out of nowhere, he starts coughing at the bar. Just
This wasn't out of nowhere. This was after, like, I think it was
yes,
like...
but you had been
Oh, I was fine.
and
Yeah.
funny up till that point, and you just started coughing and coughing. We're kind of ignoring it, and then you're really coughing, and I said, "Oh, geez, are you okay?" And you don't speak, and you just stand up out of the stool, turn, and throw up all over the floor, and then you rushed yourself to the bathroom, and it was as if when a dog on the Iditarod Trail, they have to keep running, right? The race is so intense that they've learned to go to the bathroom while they're running.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
You threw up while running to the bathroom. You Iditarod trailed your vomit, leaving a Milky Way of what you'd eaten, dispersing it as far and wide as you could across the bar.
You know what? I blame the water, honestly, for making me throw up, because the water didn't mix with the booze. I remember going, wow, I'm drinking. It was just too much liquid in my stomach. I remember being like, God, this water. I was like,
fault.
No, I remember when the water wasn't agreeing with me. And
were you guys at altitude?
Yeah, we were at like 9,000 feet.
And you hadn't been drinking all week, right?
No, but I made up for it. Oh my God. It was like, I opened the door to the bathroom, and it was probably like the urinal was probably like a good 6 to 8 feet away. I hit the back of the urinal with my throat.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm 33 years old, by the way.
And
so
then he
don't grow out of it.
He
kids.
came out, and you were in much better shape.
Yeah.
But you had tears coming down your eyes just from the exertion, and you hadn't wiped them away. And
I wanted you to see.
Yeah.
You automatically cry when you throw up, though. That's a thing, right?
Well,
I think
yes,
so.
but unfortunately,
water.
the tears had not cleared your eyes enough to realize that we were now cleaning up your vomit, and that you should probably have helped.
Well,
you didn't.
I turned around and I looked, and I go to France. I go, "What are you cleaning?" He goes, "Your puke." I go, "From when?" He's like, literally 10 seconds ago.
He said it
Not
with
my
such
proudest.
skepticism.
Yeah, I didn't believe him. I was like, "This guy."
Yeah, he
watch
was
him.
like, "Who did that?" And
Dude, that's
then I have to say, the weirdest part of this, the bar was pretty empty, but there was one other table. Maybe there were a couple other people in there. There was a table, a high top table, 4 people who, when Pat threw up, everyone went, oh no. And then one guy at that table goes, cut him off. It's like, all right, you fucking hall monitor.
Yeah. We know.
We get it. We're
Also,
not gonna give him anymore. But then you sat back down at the bar, and there was a beer from when you'd been sitting in front of you, and you went to take a sip, and the bartender was not gonna stop you.
They were the most irresponsible bar.
They were bad.
I should have been cut off 5 hours before I was cut off.
Yeah. So I had to then take the beer from you and say, no. You gotta have water.
enough.
But the funniest part about that story is when we were sitting there, it was like me, Francis, Roan, Dana, a bunch of us. And Roan was getting the biggest kick out of just me being drunk at the bar. He was actually like sending drinks my way. So I did blame Roan a little. I remember I stood up and the bartender goes, "Hey, are you driving?" And I just slowly turn around, like that Kim Kardashian meme where she goes, I just slowly turn around and I just pull my pants down and I just point to my ass and I go, "Does that answer your question?"
He mooned him.
And the bartender was just like, "What is happening right now?" And then I just walked out, went right to bed. Wait, and then we went out to breakfast the next day. That was a tough one.
Wait, why does the ass answer the question? Are you being defiant?
I just mooned them out of
Pat
nowhere.
was
like-
being a silly goose.
Yeah.
It
played.
A goose.
Yeah.
It was
And
very silly.
It was really funny to watch. I mean, he did some of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then, yes, the next morning we went out for breakfast, and it was you, me, and Jackie, and you guys were pretty hungover and banged up. But I was excited to talk to you guys. And you know something?
It was hell.
You guys were on your phones the whole fucking time. And it made me really sad.
Okay. I think this is where you lacked a little self-awareness of the situation. Because Francis was talking about, like, I'm hanging on for dear life at this breakfast. Francis is talking about, like, gorillas and, like, the Rwandan rainforest.
Africa.
And, like, going on and on, which normally I'd be interested in. But I was so hungover, I couldn't focus on like the phone was keeping me alive at that point. And then at one point, I just got the check in the middle of the meal.
Yeah,
and just stood up and walked out.
I still had a full green juice and a refill of my cold brew sitting in front of me and half my breakfast. And Pat goes, "Let's get the fuck out of here." pays the bill, and then the two of them just stand up, and I'm like, "Whoa, I have a lot left."
Dude, it's something you're like, yeah, this Italian woman was asking for.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to have a nice breakfast.
So I looked at the girl and I went,
yeah.
check, please.
The breakfast was great because the eggs help my hangover. Eggs is like the best hangover cure there is. It absorbs the alcohol.
Really?
I walked out of that brunch thinking that Pat and Jackie are just fucking assholes. They're just assholes. And, no, because you didn't even give me time to ask for to-go cups for my beverages.
Oh, you don't want to go at a breakfast spot when you're out to eat. That's a poverty mentality. You never take to go. You take to go food while you're out to eat.
The green juice was worth bringing with me.
Okay, that's fair.
It was a nice one. It was a good one. They done well.
Yeah, that was. I think what I've learned. Like I know how to handle my hangovers so well, and it's just silence and apple juice, and a cold shower will get rid of my hangover. And I had none of that at our breakfast that morning.
Well,
it was brutal. Do you still drink, Julio?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah?
Do we still drink?
Dude, I'm a big drinker. But I have questions for you.
Drinker? Yeah, I feel like I'm at my intervention right now.
Judging by the
someone's
fact,
waiting to come in right now.
I'm like, yeah, dude. Wait, but so you threw up all over the floor.
Yeah.
Now,
this is so embarrassing.
When's the last
33.
time you threw up from drinking?
Probably a decade ago.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if this was your thing or not.
No. Well, actually, the last time I threw up, I was actually with Gaz at a bar called LPR. You know that bar?
Le Poisson Rouge, where they have the bands.
And I threw up into my hand there. And that was in
Nice.
2017, and that was the last time.
Did you eat it like a bird?
No. I'm sure I would have if someone told me it was food. But no.
By the way, a bird shit on me today. Speaking of birds.
Is that so?
I think that's supposed to be good luck.
It's very good luck.
Birds have shit on me many times, and I gotta be honest, I can't recall having good luck from any of those times. So this hopefully is going to be the day.
Well, this show is going to rip. So
this
that's
show is going to fucking
This is the
rip.
one.
Well,
This is
let's
the
go.
one.
But you don't really drink, Francis. You're responsible when you drink.
Well, I don't know that I could say that I don't really
Francis can get in there,
Yeah.
dude.
I'll get in the trenches.
Francis can
I-
get
But
in
I have
there.
a very good, I have a hard stop. I have like a governor in my motor where I get to a point and something switches and says, no more. And I will abide by it, and I won't slip past it.
Dude,
I
the
switch
governor
to like water or seltzer
That's
water.
called maturity.
But it sets in, bro. This guy can drink a lot. Don't be fooled here.
Yeah.
I mean, that governor could kick in at drink number 10 potentially.
Yeah, I can go
Just
deep.
saying.
I can send it deep with this. When I'm up for it, ooh.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw Francis shit-faced?
I don't know, dude. Like definitely recently.
Yeah. Yeah. He's also probably one of my favorite people to drink with.
Yeah.
You're tough.
to drink.
Only because
You're tough.
you want us to like light ourselves on fire and then deal with the consequences.
There's no off switch.
Let's get there as
No.
fast as we can
Yep.
and then let the night have at us.
I went through a thing where I stopped drinking beer because it took too long.
Yeah.
So I had to go because I love vodka. Like I can just drink just cups of vodka. I love it. But then you throw up. On the bar
You then vomit.
if you do that.
Were
But
you
no,
taking shots of vodka with the working man?
Whiskey.
probably.
We were
I
drinking
had
whiskey.
every kind of spirit
It
you
was
could
whiskey
imagine.
and beer. It was a deadly combination.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I had a blast that day.
It was fun.
I like drinking with people who don't usually drink and then getting them really drunk.
Yeah.
Like if someone's hesitant about drinking while you're out with them, that I love. Because then it's like a challenge.
You're just
like,
you're like an abusive man. You're just
Yeah.
a
Breaking them.
frat chair.
a frat. Like I got you a little while we were out.
I was getting there for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, but like I was blessed to have not been with you the
Blessed
whole
to
time.
have not been with you.
I was lucky to have missed chapter 1.
Yeah, chapter 1 was brutal. I was
Yeah.
there alone for like an hour before anyone came.
Mhm.
I was like, we should start. Everyone was like, it's 11 a.m. But no, that's my most fun. Like our friend Large, who we used to do the radio show with, is like that too. Like
Yeah,
if
you
someone says no, it's just like it makes the whole day great because then you want to just push drinks
Oh,
on
yeah.
them. You'll drink
Yeah.
whatever they want. He knows exactly what
Large
I'm talking
gets
about.
after it. And
Yeah.
he's very solid. He doesn't show that much. He doesn't unravel. You can't tell You can't tell. He doesn't get loose
No,
with
not
it.
really. He
He's
holds his
just like one of those men from a different time. Who?
I mean, he's a big guy too.
Yeah.
the opposite of me. I wear
Yeah.
it just on my sleeve. Completely different person when I start drinking.
You're like, oh, you're gonna let me drink alone? You're like one of those guys.
Oh God, yeah.
He
of
starts
course.
calling himself Aunt Pat.
Oh, I don't know why I was doing that. Aunt Pat. Aunt Pat. I think
Aunt
because that's what I
Patty.
called myself for my nephew, Aunt Pat. Yeah, that was a disaster. Do you go out with people from work here? Not really ever, right?
Not often. I mean, I
Yeah.
like to. I like
Yeah.
to. I just, it's always sort of a spur of the moment. Hey, want to get a drink after work? It's not
Yeah.
a Friday night. What do you guys want to do tonight? Type
Right.
thing.
You don't drink with anyone around here, do you?
I mean, it's not that I don't want to. I just am like, I don't feel comfortable like attempting to get involved in people's plans because
Right.
I'm not like integrated quite enough. So if I were to be like, what are you guys doing tonight? I'd be like the overeager guy, and I'd be afraid people were talking shit about me.
that happens? You get
No,
nervous
but
when people
I'm
are
not.
gonna talk shit?
I'm not quite in a place where I'm like, hey, what should we do with people?
Right.
I'm not like against it. I'd like to, in fact.
I've also done it too much. Like with people, like I know I've had my time going out with people from work here. Like I'm over it.
But it's
kinda
good.
deal.
It's like it kind of like solidifies your longevity in a way. You know what I mean? You like know everybody. You're like you become more indispensable.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Too much time
Yeah.
together is also not a good thing.
Hmm.
If you work with someone, there needs to be some sort of separation.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah.
Balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Balance. You struggle with balance, Aunt
I
Pat.
very much struggle with balance. Very much so.
That's so funny. So, Patty, you have seen runaway success with your podcast. So, for the record, Pat, how were you hired here many years ago?
I was hired here. I was working for MTV at the time, and I found out that Barstool moved to New York, and I hated my job. So I was like, I'm going to write in every day, see if I can get some attention. So I would send a blog a day in. I sent an initial blog saying, hey, I'm going to write to you, kind of prefacing what I was going to do. No one read it, of course.
Mhm.
But then I sent a blog in every day for a couple months.
It's like the Shawshank Redemption
Yeah.
model.
Yeah,
This
literally.
is the Riggs model. This is how Riggs
Yeah.
got hired, too.
This is back before like Barstool had money, so
Uh-huh.
it was difficult to get hired here. And so I wrote in, and then eventually I got an email back from Dave that said, "What's your deal?" That was it.
Because
No
it was weird that you were
punctuation, no
emailing?
nothing. I think it was your stuff's pretty good. What's your deal? Or maybe
Oh, that's
Feidelberg
nice.
emailed me first, and I was like, "Wait, people are reading."
So
this
how did they
stuff?"
find it? How did these guys even get it?
I sent it to tips@barstoolsports.com.
Got it.
And then I think I guessed a couple emails. Every once in a while, I'd send one to Dave. Every once in a while, I send one.
And it was different each one.
each blog.
It was different.
Oh yeah. That was my thing. I was like, just do one a day, kind of
Yeah.
like a good quality blog. Send it in.
How long did that take for them to reply?
Like 2 months.
Look at this, folks. This
Dude,
is a good lesson.
It was
Riggs-
consistent. I mean, I sent
Riggs
one
did it for a
every day.
year. Riggs did it for a year and sent a blog to Dave every day for a year.
Wow.
And then finally got hired through sheer force of will.
Good
And
for
now
him.
he's, one of the most successful people here.
Yeah, it
Unbelievable.
was the same. It was the same kind of deal here. And then
Personality type.
he brought me in to like check out the office, I guess, or I think he said, "Hey, you can start this up." And I was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Am I hired?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Well, can I come check out the office?" He's like, "Yeah, come check it out." So I came in and I went on the rundown and I told everyone that I was hired. I was like, maybe if I just will it into
Oh,
existence,
Wow.
it'll
You
happen.
truly are a cowboy, dude.
So I went. So the rundown
Holy
came out,
shit.
and Dave was like, "You're not hired." I was like, "Well, I already told everyone I am." So then he brought me on the radio show and kind of had me like pitch why he thinks I should be brought on. And I was an awful pitch. I was nervous.
Really?
It was terrible. So that led to like a year, a little less than a year of like part-time work, where I was just blogging and doing my thing. And that eventually transformed into a full-time job working on the radio show with Francis.
Mhm.
Then a couple more years of blogging, and then the show Out and About that I'm on now. So it was not an easy road
No, it's,
to get in here. It was a lot of hard work.
he ate a lot of shit. He was the producer on our radio show,
Oh,
which
wow.
was 7 in the morning.
Dude, it was
I
awful.
remember
And
that.
5
you-
days a
I
week.
can't believe you did that still.
He
Yeah.
did it and never missed a day either.
Crazy.
And it just sometimes it's amazing how many people who work at this company have found a way from an editing chair or a job that is not forward facing, not content, and just kept putting some flavor forward. Something, I know people don't really know me for this, but I like doing this too.
Right.
Or And over time and just effort and perseverance. I mean, Pat is a remarkable testament to that because you had a very thankless job for a very long time.
The producer on
Yeah,
Barstool. It was just so
producer.
early. I think if that show was late, like no one is at their best self when they wake up at
It's a
7 in the morning.
disaster.
We've
Everyone's
talked about this,
cranky.
yeah.
Everyone's hungry. Everyone's at each other's throat.
Yeah.
By the time Friday rolls around, you're ready to fucking kill yourself. It's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
And then you do it again on Monday. But I mean, I think it's a good thing that we did that. Like, I think that proved a lot, that proved how committed we were to at least being.
Yeah,
there.
it was amazing how committed we were, and we really believed in it, even though.
It was bad.
Well, no, I was gonna say that it became apparent that there was very little money
Yes.
for the whole Sirius deal,
Yep.
and that I think the Sirius shows in general just didn't mean that much to the company,
Yeah.
which was this weird disconnect of.
It was strange. We also didn't get metrics, which is tough. Now it's all very
Yeah.
transparent. Like, you know how your show's doing. We get emails every week from data, like we can see on YouTube. Then it was just kind of this like blanket deal where you didn't have any leverage to like negotiate how much you should be making because you didn't even know what the Sirius deal was. You didn't know how well the show was. We could guess that we were doing well,
Yeah.
but that was just basically based on how we were feeling that day.
Yeah, but
Oh, that was a good show. This show must be doing well.
Did you
Right.
were you on the show when we got called into Sirius?
Yeah. Does he know that story?
No.
Oh my God.
So early on,
yeah, that's a
This
the
is
sketch.
juicy.
original
It's good.
iteration of the show was built around this young woman named Julie who had been a ESPN sideline reporter. She was sort of the host, and then Willie Colon and I were, co-hosts, and it was not going well. We did not have.
There was no chem. There was like kind of an odd cog in the wheel. You and Willie were fine.
Willie and I we were on the same page, and I think there was just a little bit of a
This is
disconnect.
separate from Large. That was a different
Large
show?
was not part of the show yet.
This is pre-large.
Pre-Large.
Yeah, this was the original show. It was supposed to be the three of us, and it wasn't going well. We were just really running into sort of roadblocks of, we can't go there. Really? Okay. And
Oh,
This was
so-
also like peak, like Me Too.
You were getting
Like-
feedback
Was it?
after
Yeah, I guess it
episodes were coming
was.
out?
Yeah.
So you-
No. It was like Julie did not want us to talk about certain things that every other show was talking about,
Got
whether it was sex or, kind of just being.
She wanted to be in complete control, like creatively, of the show.
Yeah.
I think, and you guys wanted something different, like more loose, and she like wanted to plan shit out.
I think
Uh,
she came from this ESPN background that was structured and professional and
segment 2,
polished.
segment 3.
Yeah.
And Willie and I were like, let's just,
Fuck it.
this is Barstool. Like, we're,
Right.
let's rip it up. Let's talk about smoking weed. Let's, drinking all this bullshit. And, no discredit to Julia. She's killing it. And I think, I don't know, but just for that show and at that time, we struggled to kind of get out of the blocks a little bit. And so Sirius called us into their headquarters, and they have this ridiculous, big building,
Yeah.
shiny, massive office, huge operation, and you got to get name tags to go in. You got to
Yeah.
all that stuff. Take the elevator up 50th floor, Midtown Manhattan.
You ever see
We're in
Stern pop out of
sweatpants.
his parking spot?
No.
You guys
Stern?
know about that?
No.
He has a parking spot that goes up to the floor. in the
Really?
building.
Wow.
That's serious. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
He has like whole half of the floor up there.
He's a beast. Yeah.
He's their entire company.
I've seen him
yeah.
walk by once or twice, and he's tall. He's
Yeah.
like, he has a good presence.
So we get called
Stern,
in.
great present.
Just saying.
And they sit us down in a conference room, and no snacks. I was looking.
Wearing you down.
That's when
the
I knew.
takeaway.
That's when I knew we were in trouble.
There was no comforts.
There was no
creature
help
comforts.
yourself to those gummy bears. So they sort of start talking to us about how to improve and why things are not going well and all of this. And we kind of come back to the office to Barstool in the middle of the day, feeling like, oh man, I guess we're not really doing that well.
What does that mean? How do you quantify not doing well? To his point.
Because we were the only show that got called in.
Yeah, but what about the show wasn't going well? The content, people weren't listening.
It would be, we didn't know if people weren't listening because we didn't get metrics.
they know?
But it would be they know. But I
Got
think it would be a thing where like we would have a show and it would be like, Francis and Willie were like hitting it off, doing well, and maybe they touch on a topic like sex or whatever. And Julie, rather than going with it on the show, would be like, whoa,
Yeah.
let's go to break.
Yeah.
And I won't be like, what
Some
the
of our
fuck
moms
is
are
going-"
listening.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So she would try and maintain control through steering conversations on the air rather than like coming up with a plan ahead. It was just a bizarre push and pull of like this, where's the conversation going on air? So nothing really ever got to where it should be in terms of like flowing or, really exhausting a topic on the air, because every time him and Willie got going, Julie would cut it short because she either A, wasn't comfortable talking about it, or B, felt like on the outs where she was the first chair, so she should be the one driving the
There was a
conversation.
disconnect with what was going to be the content of the episode. Now, were you like aware of this while it was happening?
Oh yeah.
And just like,
Remember she
how are we
cried
going to
one
solve
day?
this problem?
One time
She cried.
she
Jay
got
Francis
really
made her cry.
upset. I don't know that feels like the wrong way to. I think
All right.
I think what happened was I finally got to a point where I pushed back
Yeah.
and said, what's happening here?
Right.
Like this is going well, and I feel like you're kind of stopping the progress. And she got upset and started crying, and
Which was, it's like 8 a.m, which was the
yeah,
craziest
and
part.
she was like, we're gonna go to commercial break. That kind of
on
thing.
the episode,
On
you said
live.
that?
Dude, it
and
was
then,
bad,
And
man.
then in the commercial break, we only have 4 minutes or some shit. She starts really crying, and she goes, can you just apologize? And I said, I'm not going to apologize for offering what I consider to be
I love
important notes for this structure of what we're doing here. And Willie after was like, man, that was the most gangster shit I've ever seen. He was like,
Willie didn't give a fuck.
I've never seen someone tell a white woman I'm not apologizing when they're crying.
Oh,
He said that, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is cool.
That's funny.
Remember,
That's
Willie
funny.
was like, if I do that, I'm the big bad black man.
Yeah,
telling her
yes,
to-
yeah,
Oh, that's good.
It was, and I felt vindicated. But look, I feel bad that Julie's not here to sort of defend herself. And I hope that we're not telling a version that is so far from how she saw it, because again, she's incredible, very professional. She was hired for a reason.
Right.
I got the show because of her. She was the one who was like, that guy, give him a shot, and then basically chose me. So I really think highly of her, and want to make sure it was just like different idea of how we thought the
You
show
guys
should go.
wanted to make different shows.
Yeah.
Dude, whenever people come over my apartment, the first thing I do is I show them some Hangover.
Yes.
See, let me put you on to something.
Well, as brand ambassadors, I think that is it's something we should do.
It's in our best interest.
Carry the torch of this incredible brand and this incredible company that we love so much.
We love Hangover, man.
Yeah,
It's-
open the fridge and welcome them to the rest of their life.
I gave my friend Andy a wake the other day, and
Yeah.
he loved it. He went, dude, this is good.
Yeah, Andy knows.
And I could tell he meant it. It wasn't a like, oh, you're a brand ambassador, so therefore I need to pretend I like it. He really liked it.
That's how it goes, man. We're spreading the good word like Johnny Appleseed. We're spreading the love. I don't know if he didn't really spread the good word so much as just apple seeds.
Well, I love the way that each Hangobi flavor has its own identity and its own completely different flavor. You know what I mean? It's a really unique thing about it in a way. It's like you're drinking 3 completely different beverages.
Right.
As opposed to like some other beverages, like you're drinking that beverage,
Right.
but it's just like a different version. Like these are standalone drinks. They're all delicious. They all have different utility. The wake will give you a little bit of a pep. The calm will calm you down, and the essential is just for some good living at all times.
Absolutely.
And you will feel the difference and also taste the difference. It's a great beverage. We love Conrad. He always comes in and hangs out at the show to the point where he's almost like our sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
Conrad is on Oops the Podcast more than anybody besides Chris and Ryan.
That's right.
Besides the direct team. Conrad is the godfather of Oops the Podcast.
Wow.
Yeah. The same way Francis is a godfather as well. You'll be hearing more about that in the next episode.
Yeah.
But anyway, right now you can go to hangobi.com, use promo code Oops I'm Hung. You'll receive 30% off of your order, Francis.
30%.
Hangobi's now in over 500 stores, and they're about to spread a bit more now in the Texas region, greater Maryland area. There will be Hangobi slowly taking over like a healthy plague that we could all use more of. Hangobi.com. Promo code Oops I'm Hung. 30% off of your order. Go get yourself some. Right?
Oh, and by the way, to the point of the Sirius meeting, when Dave found out that we had been called to Sirius to be sort of told,
reprimanded,
coached,
he was furious.
Oh yeah,
he was furious at them. He was like, "You don't get creative control over the shows that you've told us to make. We do that," and he was really mad.
But that was like a light bulb because you're like, wait a second. Why are we listening to these people? Because she would defer to them and we would defer to Barstool.
It made me more sure that putting our loyalty and in the camp of Barstool was the right play. Because our listeners were Barstool listeners, not just broader, serious listeners. And so that was a very interesting kind of behind-the-scenes moment. Eventually, Julie went elsewhere. The show was down to me and Willie, and it was just the two of us. And obviously Pat on a mic and Za on a mic, in the control room. But the two of us did the show for a year, and I did not miss a single show. For a whole year, live.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning.
Were there any blackout weeks?
No, dude. I think maybe
a
4th
day
of
here or
July,
there,
we had like a couple days off.
I'm
I wish
telling
we
you.
could play the clip of the hardest I've ever seen you and Willie laugh was when Willie tried to have me speak Dothraki on the show. Do you remember that?
That's hilarious.
I wish we could play that, and you were just like, "The show is bad." when
Yeah,
we
you're
do
hurting
this."
the show. You're
You
gonna get
guys
us
had
called
good.
into
You guys,
Sirius again.
it was brutal. You guys had good chemistry though, and
We
then
did.
Large came in, and it was good because it took some of the pressure off.
We needed needed help. I needed help because I was
5 days a week.
I was doing 5 days a week of that. Then I was blogging all day.
How long was the show?
Creating video content at Barstool, 2 hours.
Were you guys like helping structure it? Were you like, all right, we're gonna talk
Barely,
about this?
yeah.
We went more towards just shoot the shit.
We would. It's kind of crazy to
That's
think about.
crazy.
You guys would get on the air with no plan,
Yeah.
and for 2 hours, and you can't stop talking on radio. It's not like
No.
a podcast where you can edit it,
1
because then
second,
people are
yeah.
in the car and it's just they think something happened.
Dude, there were days
wild.
where we'd come in hungover.
Oh,
We'd
yeah.
come in. I would have had too many edibles the night before, and I'd still be like on a different planet. And
Did you have other responsibilities here during that
a
time?
lot.
Oh, yeah.
So after the show was done,
I worked
had,
all day, and then I did stand up at night, and then I was touring on the weekends. And after a year of that,
What
I
year
was
is this?
I was breaking down.
He's
2003.
resilient, dude. He's resilient.
Yeah.
This guy.
Well, I did that. I was a nobody. I didn't have any nobody. I was young at Barstool, and this is how everyone who has kind of become anything here, I think, has had to embrace that level of hustle.
Everyone was very hungry at that point
Yeah.
to try, and I think we still are. Obviously, you want to take things to the next level, but at that point, it was like everyone was trying to carve out a niche.
Yeah.
Like the company was growing like crazy. It was like, how can I eat? How
Right.
can
Can I
I
be
get some
part
of
of
this
this?
money? Yeah.
Yeah, put me on this, put me on that. I'll
Yeah.
do anything. I'll take on more. And by the end of that year, it was just too much. There was a period. Willie went on
Has
his
he met Willie? You never met
I've
him.
never
2
met
week.
Willie.
He's like a
Where is
370
he?
pound guy from the Bronx.
He doesn't work here
Played
anymore?
for Pittsburgh
No.
Steelers.
He's
Won a Super Bowl.
hilarious.
what?
He's an incredible person.
Yeah.
What
He
does
doesn't
do
know
now?
how funny he is. I don't
He's
think.
funny. He's also very earnest. He lives by codes.
Where is he?
He's-
He lives by codes.
yeah,
he does.
he's got old school
Yeah.
values.
He cared about. He's like, we are a team. We're a family.
we are family.
Yeah.
We are family. That kind of thing.
Good, that's good.
And then there were times when we would go out, and he would want to go to a nightclub.
Yeah.
And I would bring him to a nightclub, and the understanding was that he was going to pay for everything,
Yeah.
and he liked doing that. And then I'd throw him. He'd be like, "Why don't you throw him the next day?"
You just
we
had
get
a
back
bunch
to-
of money from football.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we would go, and we would go to work on Monday, and be a Friday. We'd go to work on Monday, and be like, "Hey man, thanks for everything. Like, do you want me to pitch in?" And he's like, "Yeah, just throw me $500." And I'd be like,
Just 500.
Oh, no.
Just 500.
And then I'd have to go withdraw $500 from a bodega ATM
Oh.
like 5 separate times, and then hand him cash in 20s. And he's like, "They didn't have hundreds?" And I'm like, "No."
Dude, I went to Magic City Strip Club with him
Wow.
in Atlanta on a trip for like Natty Light or something, and we walked in and it was already very uncomfortable for me, and he handed me $1,000 in ones. He's like, go have fun.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Go have fun?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like putting some in my pocket. But it was me, him, Glennie, Nick Mulcahy from upstairs. And that was like peak Willie because he
Yeah.
was so comfortable in a strip club and none of us were.
Yeah.
It was very
What
fun.
is
That's-
Magic City like? I've heard about it for years from everybody, from rap songs.
It's everything you think it would be. So Monday is their big day. I mean,
That's
I don't even know
dark.
how to describe it. It's just
that
like,
shouldn't be the way of things.
yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a hood strip club with the dancers are
But it's
very good
nice,
at what they
right?
do. Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
and
on
it's
the
like
inside.
it's like stunning women.
Not really. No, the
Okay.
women aren't that stunning.
We had a great time, and then Large had. Oh, at one point Willie went on his 2-week honeymoon, which
Yeah.
had been delayed.
Where'd he go?
I think he went to Greece or did a cruise or something.
I think it was a cruise, a
And
high-end cruise.
Out of nowhere, he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks," and I was the only person on the show.
Did you have like guests?
Dude, I had to book. I had Pat co-host the show, but then I also had like Sam Morrill one day, Gary Goldman another
Oh,
day.
wow.
Yeah.
I was just mining comedians, and this was sort of before we had really opened up that avenue to comedians, and I had to tell them like, "Hey, it's 7 a.m. FYI." And these comedians would come in. They were like, "I haven't been up this early in 10 years." You know? And
Goldman was great, I remember.
What's that?
Goldman was great.
Goldman was good. Yeah, we had Will Sylvans did one. I don't know. It was all over the place.
There was no supervision though. You would think for like, which I think is why the Sirius deal, obviously money was part of it, was like went the way it went because there was no direction. Like our main host left for 2 weeks and no one cared. It was just like on
Yeah.
us to book guests and do
there
whatever.
was no oversight. Whatever. We could do whatever
Wait,
we wanted.
but that was once the person that you were working with previously left, because I mean you guys got called in and slapped on the wrist. At one point, did it change to you can do whatever the fuck you want?
I think
Well,
it was always that way. We just never saw it as
we
that
never
way.
knew. And,
Yeah.
and once it
We
was
never knew.
once it was me and Willie, I think the show started to pick up a little
Got
bit.
it.
Yep.
And then we brought Large in, and we created Willie would do Monday through Friday because that was all he did at Barstool. He didn't have after the show was over, he would go home at 9
You think
a.m.
he was getting paid way more than you because he was like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
probably,
probably,
yeah,
yeah.
probably.
yeah,
And
Definitely.
You're like,
Willie's like
"Fuck yeah."
shark of an NFL agent.
Yeah.
He had such a great deal.
Yeah.
2 hours a day, zero preparation, making
Yeah.
a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so we and then he we brought Large in to because Willie went away and Large co-hosted with me. He had just been hired. He was great. I introduced Large to Willie. Willie and Large started hitting it off, and then we decided, let's do this. Let's have Willie host every day. It'll be Willie and Francis Monday and Wednesday, Large and Willie Tuesday and Thursday, and then the three of us on Friday.
oh, cool.
And that was such a better, just to have 2 mornings a week that I could sleep till like 8:30
Yeah,
instead of 5:30.
it's almost like the perfect like being wide awake at 8:30
Yeah,
is sick.
I know exactly.
And then the 2 days you feel like you accomplished something.
yeah,
It's like I was up early, I worked hard these 2 days.
right. And we, but Fridays, Large created this thing called Gentleman's Friday, which was just an ornate way of saying we're gonna drink and eat fucking charcuterie at 7 in the morning.
I
They-
hated it.
I was so
I
bad.
hated
I
it.
hated it too.
It was just chewing into the mic for 2 hours.
and also like drinking wine at 7 a.m. and
Yeah.
eating Parmesan. How is that normal? That's
7
not
a.m.
breakfast.
Parmesan.
It was
is
just bad
insane.
radio. And they loved it too. So you couldn't you didn't want to tell them it was bad because it was their idea, but
Yeah,
it was
there'd be
not.
like 4 comments that are like, "It's time for Gentleman's Friday," and they'd be like, "See, the
See?
fans love it." And I'm like, "What about the 48 comments that are like, fuck Fridays?"
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
Um,
It was tough.
Crazy, dude.
I would do another YouTube show. So like when the Chicago people move out there, they're redoing this. I don't know if you guys talked about this. Like they're trying to make this more of like a comedy hub. They want to maybe have a lead-in show
Mhm.
to the Yak. I would do a lead-in show if it was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days a week.
absolutely.
I think that would be good visibility. Easy to get some sponsors on there. Would you
Totally.
do that?
So I want to do every day. I have
Yeah.
no problem committing every day to that. And I'll fucking be the one consistent guy, and whoever else wants to come in, and rotate in and out, great. But I am ready to put my foot down right now and say that I will commit. Nothing would make me happier than to have a daily thing that I can hang my hat on and say, this is a show, this is a thing, we're doing this, let's fucking go.
What's the dream lineup? Would you do it like a yak lineup almost, where you're kind of the main guy and then you rotate people in and out?
Look, I mean, I can't say that I'm the best guy for that. I'm just saying that I would be willing to do it. And I think that, yeah, like like the yak, have it be somewhat rotating, loose, of the people who are here that we think would be great. The two of you, Roan, Sass, Maddie Smith. I'd like to make it a little bit more kind of
maybe mix a Joey in here and there.
Absolutely. Whoever's up
Should we do
for
that?
it.
Should we do a
Yes,
lead-in show to the? Or is that what we're saying right now?
That's what we're saying. Now the question is, do we really want it to be the lead-in? Because remember, Chicago's 1 hour behind us, right?
Okay.
So that means that if they're doing the yak at noon, at 1 p.m., that's really 2 p.m. our time. So yes, you're right. It would have to be the lead-in. Yeah.
So we would do it at 2 p.m. ish because they
No,
go.
We would do it at
1
1 if it were 1 hour or noon our time.
We should do it.
And that's noon would be 11 a.m. So it would give us 2 hours theoretically.
I think that would be fun.
I think it's an absolute must.
We're in a contract year. Why not? Why not load things up?
Are we? You mean for you?
No, I got like a year and a half left.
Everyone's in a contract year?
No. I'm just saying this is perfect timing for me. 'Cause
Yes,
I'm trying
there
to
you go.
stack myself before the
Put
new
up
deal.
some numbers before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's it.
I love it, dude. Making it happen. Guys, we are very excited because we're about to unbox our original Penguin order.
Original Penguin, the OP.
Which is a heritage brand of
It is.
Imperialis.
Yeah.
So let's check it out.
Without further ado,
Invented in 1955, brought into the world, birthed the original Penguin. Let's see what we got here, dude.
whoa.
Look at
Some
Sick pants.
little navy trow.
Look at those, dude,
Doesn't
those are
hurt
dope.
to buy to get yourself some navy trow.
Dude, look at these puppies. These are gonna look so cute on your little tush.
Damn.
Look at these.
Damn.
Gas.
Those are cool.
Oh, dude. Sick white tee.
I like
The
these.
fresh penguin logo. Look at that, dude.
Man, penguin stuff is really nice.
Look at this, dude.
What the heck?
Dude.
What the heck?
What the heck?
This stuff is really nice,
These
bro.
polos are sick. Dude, this like orange collar.
Yeah,
This is fire, bro.
those are gonna work nicely.
These slap. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see what we got in the other
Slappity
box.
slap.
Dude, this is really, really solid stuff. I mean, Penguin is where it's at. It's cool to get on board with the brand when they're having their sort of like second moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Really, really cool stuff. Really classic. I also think it would make a great gift.
Yeah.
And you can.
These trousers are sort of like an awesome stretch blend, which they look dressy and they can be worn dressy, but they're also going to be super comfortable. I can already tell. I love what these are made
Yeah,
of.
those are sick, dude.
These are so nice.
Super, super cool.
Yeah,
You should go and get yourself some Penguin. Some
absolutely.
original Penguin. So right now you can shop Original Penguin's Spring Summer 23 collection at originalpenguin.com and enjoy an original good time.
What about you, Julio? How's it going for you here?
It's good, dude. You know, I don't know. Like, I've enjoyed being here. It's fun. I've enjoyed meeting everybody, doing some of the shows. Been a good time.
How was that Chaps thing? What was your response to? What was your
Oh,
reaction
funny.
when he wrote that back?
So
Or
This is Pat. This is what he does.
Yeah.
We've never
Here
talked
he is.
about
I mean, let's get a clip.
It's
All
okay.
right, we're sitting here.
Pat loves to.
Did you already talked about this?
We have never talked
Not
about
really.
this.
No.
I wrote a blog about the editor
Oh.
here. What? He asked me.
Oh,
He's
I just
like,
go.
Pat's like, here we go.
No,
This will be your biggest clip.
No,
We'll
this
send
is-
it over
this
to
is
Chuck
fun.
for Viva. This will be great.
This is fun.
Yeah.
So I wrote a blog because it was the day that some YouTuber like either went missing or it was like realized that he had gotten kind of kidnapped or
writing a blog
captured.
about someone that went missing. Oh.
Yeah, right, yeah, seriously.
You should have talked to me first.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I know a
but-
thing or two about a thing or two.
Anyway, there's a story about this guy getting captured by the Taliban, basically. So the editor was like, "Oh, you like were over there. Do you want to write a blog today? This would be a good day to do it." I was like, "Okay, cool."
Which editor?
Nate.
I also told you, yo, you should definitely do this.
Francis did too, and I agreed, and so I put it out, and initially like it was doing pretty well, It was like pretty visible. I don't know exactly how that works, but I know it was one of the like top blogs of the day. So very cool, whatever. Then this other guy who works here wrote a response blog basically saying that my blog was the stupidest thing that has ever been published here. And that it was like a Taliban sympathizing blog, which it was not. And even to the point where, and my title was like, so he did a thing where he like quoted something where it made it seem like I said that.
Put in
when I did
quotes
it.
something that Julio hadn't said.
Was it quotes from a news article?
No,
It was just formatted.
It was
the way?
quotes like a blog today that was published was literally called quote the Taliban is not that bad or something like that, which
Yeah.
it was not. It wasn't called that.
I think that's libel.
So
Could
anyway,
be.
regardless,
Not libel, but you can't misquote somebody in quotation marks.
But sometimes on titles you can summarize and like put the summary.
Well, you
of-
put that in brackets then.
so dude, I think my
don't know
title,
that.
I
I don't
think
know
my
that.
title was literally, I got held by the Taliban and it sucked, something like that.
Yeah.
And people in the comments were like, "You shouldn't be allowed to change the title of a blog. This is fucked up." And I'm like, dude, this was the original title. I'm like replying to people. I'm like, dude, Jesus Christ. So anyway, I don't say anything to the guy. I've actually never met him. And around 6 p.m. I get a text. So he must have published that at 3. At 6 p.m. he texts me and he's like, dude, like this is
You can say his name. It's
this
Chap.
is me. Yeah, this is Chaps, whatever. He's like, I'm really sorry that I did that. That was like not cool. I don't
He
know.
asked me for Julio's number to write him an apology.
Anyway, I sent a
that
screenshot.
soon after
That
he
day.
published
Yeah.
it.
And I don't know if well, regardless, I took a screenshot. I don't think he knows this, but I took a screenshot. I sent it to Francis and I was like, is someone fucking with me, dude?
He didn't think it was real.
I thought it was a prank.
He
Like,
didn't think it was real.
Was it a long apology?
it was a pretty sincere apology, dude. I immediately accepted it. And I was kind of in the back of my head like, well, if you really meant it, you'd write a follow-up blog, which he did. Well, literally within hours of publishing the first one. And to me, completely water under the bridge, fully forgiven, no ill will toward him. It's completely fine.
He just so for clarity, Chaps was shot by the Taliban. So I think that's where it was
No, I
an
thought-
immediate
wasn't he
emotional
I
response.
thought
Wasn't he
to be
shot
like-
in Iraq?
Wasn't it by the Taliban? I don't know.
I thought he was shot in Iraq. I could be wrong about this.
So
He
had
was
said,
shot by someone.
Okay, so he
overseas.
he
had
fought.
He fought. Yeah, but
fought.
that's why
I know.
it was such an immediate and emotional response. He was like, "Fuck these guys."
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I sort of get that. If what Francis said is true, that he was in Iraq and Afghanistan, I don't know where he was. It makes it a bit more of a stretch, I will say. And I in no way was saying that I like the Taliban. Like
That's the key.
I
Right.
said that I said they were principled. It doesn't mean that I think that those are good principles. I just said that they're principled.
You
and-
basically said that your experience was different than one of somebody who had been captured by the Taliban.
I was basically trying to figure out like why was I not captured, but this guy was captured, and what goes into getting captured. So we were kind of talking about that a little bit. I don't know, dude. I as a kind of clandestine, like non fucking wartime person who was there. It's not,
Was
So-
that the last blog you wrote?
Yes. I don't think that, and that's not why, but
Yeah.
that is the last one I've written. And I don't know. I think he realized that what I was saying wasn't at odds with anything that he had done. Of course, I have all the respect in the world for anybody who's served. Like I'm on their side, especially in the Afghanistan situation. Like there's a very clear and fair objective that I of course agree with. But most of the time too, I've talked to lots of people who've been in Afghanistan and who served over there, and they were like really fascinated to just hear about my experience there and talking about like the nuance of it and like saying the things that they loved about it versus. So I've never been met with that sort of resistance. So it was like kind of a wake up call for me to be like, okay, like maybe this is a thing that I'm gonna have to deal with a bit when I do stuff like this.
I think the net of it was good. Everyone's stuff got read more. Donnie, the Wonton Don who you told me the funniest story I've ever heard about the Wonton Don.
We had
When
him
we were
on
camping,
recently.
by the way. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wonton Don is a legend, dude.
Yeah,
Oh, he's a legend. He
he's
was in
amazing.
Afghanistan, or was it Iraq?
He went to Iraq.
He went to
Iraq,
Iraq,
yeah.
They both went to Iraq.
We both went to Iraq.
Um,
I don't think he went to Afghanistan, but he got pretty close. He was like near the border, but I don't think he's ever been.
I wish we could tell that story about.
No,
I know we
that's
can't.
not.
Oh.
No, of course not. But man, that was. Good.
But it was a funny moment for me. Not funny, but I urged Julio, hey, your experience is somewhat similar to this guy in the news. This seems like a good time to write about what you Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah, okay. And then he does, and then immediately someone wrote the worst blog that's ever been written on Barstool Sports today, calling the Taliban good people. And I'm like, huh.
Which I did not do, by the way.
Hey, sorry, Julio.
No, but dude, like it, and it's funny for the most part, like that is completely water under the bridge. There are it certainly is between me and Chops, but the guy, like there is the occasional person who will still comment something about like me, like being a Taliban sympathizer on like a random thing.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, and let me guess, also the Taliban's not that bad, like out of context. I'm like, what are you talking?
But they'll keep saying that. It'll fade and become less and less frequent.
The issue is that you read the comments.
It's impossible not
It depends.
to.
You still
depends.
do, really?
I'm talking, people tweet at you?
Yeah, that's true.
And it's just in your activity?
As long as I'm not misunderstood, I don't mind any bad comments. As long as if they haven't tapped into like a really intense insecurity, I'll be honest. I'm sitting like this right now because once I sat like this and a person just zoomed in and took a screenshot and went, "Ooh, that's tough." So I'm now sitting like this, and that's why it has affected my behavior moving forward.
No.
You're sitting like a lady?
No, but I agreed. Like it didn't like the way that it looked. So I'm like, all right, thanks at least for showing me that, dude. Jesus.
Is that a really intense insecurity for you, the crotch region?
I guess. I don't know. It wasn't before. It just looked bad, and like the angle was bad. I just looked like shit, as people do at some point when they're on a camera.
Having lump here with
Lump
your
is
legs
good.
apart on camera is not.
It's not cute.
That's not nice.
Oh, you want the lump.
No,
you don't
you
want
don't-
it smooth and
No,
you want some mounds down there.
You want bulge and
Yes.
but you don't. This isn't ideal.
No,
you
it was
know.
just like
yeah.
leg meat. Dude.
But I feel like you can't have a bulge sitting down.
No, it wasn't the bulge. Isn't the problem? It was the leg meat.
It was the LM.
The LM.
Interesting.
But anyway, if somebody's like Julio's a fucking loser, like I don't. That doesn't bother me at all. There's no substance there.
Yeah, to your credit, you were unbelievably unbothered by the whole thing with Chaps.
Yeah.
And you asking me when he texted you, is this real? I was like, welcome to Barstool,
Yeah.
dude.
It's funny, I was pretty confident that I would avoid a situation like that.
First blog that happens.
I was like, I know people at Barstool like get into drama with each other. Like, I just can't picture how that would happen to me. And lo and behold, it can happen to anybody, dude.
Day one.
I definitely don't go like searching for drama. I will attempt to avoid it if I can. If I can find a reasonable path forward without having to deal with it, I will take it. But
I enjoyed it back in the day. The drama, but now there's no
You
payoff.
like the puppet master role more, though.
Oh, yeah.
You don't like to be in
Look what
the
I just
drama.
did. I just got 20 minutes of Chaps. We just resurfaced the entire story.
I didn't say anything. I really respected the way he handled it, to be honest. Like, he did something, he reacted in a certain way that I felt was unreasonable, but I was kind of like, all right, whatever. And he realized that he was wrong. He apologized to me, and he wasn't a coward about it. He publicly like kind of fell on his own sword. And to me, I'm all about a redemption tale, dude. Like,
did you tell him that Chaps was going to text him, or you just gave him the number?
He didn't
I
tell
don't
me.
know.
He didn't tell me.
I don't think I said it.
Just a blind
I
text.
also didn't know if I didn't really know what was
he was
real.
gonna do,
I was
yeah.
like, what? Because his first blog was there was so much anger and feeling in it.
It was really
That for him to make such an about face in such short time, I just didn't know what was up and versus down.
It's good you didn't take it personally, though. Like, I find that I don't take anything on the internet personally. When I first started, I definitely would. Comments would affect me. Things would upset me. Now it's
what
just,
do you mean? Like in general, like people? Because when he
In
originally
general.
wrote the blog, I did take it personally.
oh, yeah.
But I wasn't going to like do anything.
But in the back of your head, were you like, this is good because
Yeah.
people are going to read it? That's where my mind
yeah.
automatically goes. Even if we do like something terrible on the show, I'm like, if this is so bad,
Right.
it will get clicks. That's good.
it hurt me a little, but but the silver lining was very clear.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Like, this is a good thing because it'll make people read it more. Hopefully I don't get too many nasty death threat type messages.
Yeah, being branded as the Taliban sympathizer is a little different from being like the guy at Barstool who's got pee on his pants. You know?
right.
Exactly.
Look at that guy over there. You peed your pants. Oh, it's pee-pee pants. Look out.
Well, to anybody, like, I mean, the series is coming out soon, And anybody who had any questions about whether or not I'm a Taliban sympathizer, you will see that I'm not. And as if it isn't already completely obvious.
I don't think I've ever had any controversies here in that sense.
I was going to ask, yeah.
Like you've had, obviously.
I've had a few.
You've had a few. You've had a few. You've had that. I don't think I have. Even at the Duncan Awards when I wasn't dressed up, I somehow escaped that.
You didn't get in trouble for that?
Nothing.
Really?
I fly under the radar.
How?
I have no idea.
You're 7 feet tall. I think you fly over the.
I'm out of
That's
range.
Cool.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Yeah, I was thinking we would. Great.
Yeah. Patty, we receive emails on this show, and we like to share them. So be good to hear your opinion on
Let's
some
do
of
it.
this.
Let's get Pat in the mix here with some emails. Okay, this is good. Relationship question. Hey guys, question for you. Is it okay for a significant other to show their friends texts from when you get into a fight? A small, dumb fight that doesn't mean too much, we all assume they talk to their friends about. But one of the bad fights where you both are really upset with each other and go back and forth, is it fair game to find out your partner showed all their friends your texts back and forth?
Ooh.
It's pretty good.
I actually just got into an argument about this with my significant other because I think he involves like his friends too much in it. I don't think it's appropriate at all.
He tries
I think
to
it needs to be internal. Like you got to figure it out yourself without outside opinions.
So here's the problem. I get the incentive for wanting to get an outside opinion because when you're having this fight in a vacuum like that, there's no perspective and they might be saying something that is completely wrong. And you're like, how do you not get it? Everybody on earth would agree with me.
Yeah.
But there's no way for you to prove that. You know what I mean? So how do you not get gaslit, but also kind of show popular support for your opinion?
What is gaslighting? I don't even know.
I've done a lot on this. I've thought a lot about this. I've done research on it.
It's you just trick someone into thinking they're wrong?
The basic idea of gaslighting is to make someone doubt their own reality or their own version of events.
Oh, I do that all the time for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a great skill to have, right?
An example would be if...
Is that wrong?
Well, right. The joke I used to tell is like, in other words, confusing people. And
right.
There's a pretty strong defense for it. Use your fucking brain.
Right.
Like, I used to get gaslit from my whole childhood, but we didn't call it gaslighting. We just called it church. But look, on this topic, I think that...
Can't get over how you're sitting.
I'm not moving, dude.
Not moving. You look like you're afraid we're going to sack tap you at all times. No, on this topic, I think that's totally unacceptable to be sharing fights on text with other people. And I think there's two reasons for it. One, that should be personal, sacred information. And two, I think that my relationship, in some ways, you could call it a brand. I care about the way that my wife and I are perceived together.
Right.
And why would I want to hurt our brand, whether it's something that she said to me or something I said to her, by showing holes in our relationship to friends or even family? I want people to think they're a great couple.
Right.
They love each other. They have their shit together. Let's invite them over for dinner. Let's go on a ski trip with them. Instead of like, man, I don't know if we should go on a ski trip with them. What if they erupt and have another fight about that bullshit thing they had? Another fight. You know, like, yeah. I don't want to show holes in our mechanisms or any of that.
There's nothing trashier than a couple just fighting.
Yeah.
In front of people. That's white trash. Especially if there's booze involved.
Right.
That's trash.
It's one thing, and to fight in front of another group of people, obviously not great. But then to go out of your way to show someone a fight that you had in private, which they would never have found out about, seems like so self-sabotaging. I can't...
Well, you need to... Okay, so this brings up a good point. You need to have the right people to talk about stuff like this. If your girlfriend is doing something shitty to you or whatever, whoever your partner is, and you are telling... you probably shouldn't tell your parents. Because your parents will like forever hold a grudge against the person.
Right.
See, I would tell my mom something before I told a friend.
But it just depends. Maybe that's the kind of relationship you have with your mom, where she won't hold it against your partner or whatever. Like, I don't know. So to me, it's like, you have to pick who you're going to talk to about it. You have to be able to talk to somebody.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like this idea that you and I can fight and I'm not allowed to talk about it to
Right.
anybody ever, that's unreasonable. So maybe showing the text isn't okay, but like surely it's okay to confide in friends if you have an argument and you're looking for guidance.
But then it's
I mean,
like that's
right?
happened and I've gone
you
out
want.
and if you are with the person that you know they're talking to, then it's like this person has like privy information about our relationship. That just feels wrong and strange.
This is where I would advocate for therapy.
Right. Agreed.
You need a someone who is sworn to secrecy, but is an advocate for you, but also someone who can provide perspective from both sides and try to talk you back towards the middle, reconciliation, but will never share what you're saying with anyone or
Anonymous.
judge either of you.
Have either of you bumped into a therapist in public?
No, therapy's gay. I don't go to that. Therapy? What am I, mentally weak? Of course not. No, I've never bumped into a therapist. I had a therapist in college, but no, I've never bumped into a therapist outside.
I've not. Well, I've only ever really seen one, whom I've seen for a long time, but no, I've not seen her.
I wonder if it's like a Stranger Things moment where like you bump into them and you like the earth shatters, like you open a portal. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to see them. I
You
never have
ignore
either.
each other?
I would be
Aren't-
extremely uncomfortable if I ran into
Aren't
them.
you like not allowed to talk with them?
I don't know.
I thought.
I don't even know.
Probably say
Well,
hi.
my therapist was really intense too,
I'd
dude.
probably
And
say hi.
Guy or girl?
guy, and the
Yeah.
way, if I had seen him in public, it would have made me really uncomfortable because of how intense he was. He was just so direct, so serious. If I tried to like make it light, I would get him to crack a joke sometimes, but he'd be like, "See, Julia, you're performing again. This is what
Yeah, I
you
get
perform."
that. I used to get that a lot.
And then he'd be like, I was like, yeah, I was thinking about her. Like, I was talking about my ex-girlfriend. I think I've told you guys this, but at one point he goes, "You were thinking of her. Were you thinking about fucking her?"
Oh
Oh,
my
was like, what the
God.
fuck?
I'm thinking about fucking you with that
I was like,
accent.
what the fuck?
My God.
That's like that scene from I think it's called Closer, the movie with
Oh, yeah.
Clive
Oh,
Owen
yeah.
and Natalie Portman and Julia Roberts, where she was like, "You were thinking about fucking her. How was it?" And he's like you, but better. You know.
Oh, God.
I can't remember the whole scene, but boy, it's intense.
Crazy, dude.
It's
Um,
intense.
Therapists are told to avoid encountering their patients in public, and they're not allowed to say hi to them. Well, I guess they can, but it says they're advised not to. But unless the patient says hi to them, they could talk to them.
Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe they just like wink at you from afar. Dude, this is fucked up. I hope.
It's like running into a mangy pit bull. Say hi to it, only if it says hi to you first.
I
Let
think.
the therapist smell your hand.
Good boy. All right, I guess that's it. Pat, you got anything you want to plug here?
Out and about Wednesdays and Fridays, everywhere you find podcasts.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
Hell yeah. We got some facts with Ryan. Facts with Ryan. Were they lying? Were they lying? Facts with Ryan.
We have a couple today. We do facts at the end of the episodes.
All right.
For things that are very important that we miss. So, what does it mean if a bird poops on you? When it comes to symbolic meaning of a bird dropping its poop on you, most cultures do believe it's a sign of good luck. After all, birds are considered symbolic creatures that are signs of freedom, nature, blessings, and even wisdom.
Nice, Ryan.
And why do eyes water when we throw up? Eyes water from
This
pressure on an inverted diaphragm. There we go.
Thank you, Ryan. Very nice.
Thank you, Ryan.
Very, very
There
nice.
you go. I guess Patty's diaphragm was inverted.
Yep,
Flipping that thing over.
inverted
Yeah.
Diaphragm.
Julia, you got some stand-up comedy coming up?
Yeah, I do.
anywhere?
June 13th, 14th, 15th, I am at Good Nights in Raleigh, Zanies in Nashville, and the Punchline in Atlanta in consecutive days. A little Southern swing. Excited to see all you guys out there. NotJulio.com for tickets. Also, I'm the Vulcan Cast Company in Austin, Texas, July 14th. NotJulio.com. What about you, Francis?
Awesome. I will be at the Pittsburgh City Winery June 8th and 9th. I'm going to be in Seattle, Tacoma, and Spokane, Washington, July 19th and 20th, I think. And then lots of dates coming up in the fall as well. All tickets, francisellis.com. That's Oops the Podcast. Go listen to Out and About with Pat and Joey. Much love, everybody. See you next week.